best part of any cruise is the day you leave your home port. Our ship left from Southampton, England. Out to sea, and our first stop is Guernsey in the Channel Islands. Guernsey is the second largest of the Channel Islands. In the center of town, there is a church and a tavern separated by a small alleyway. The people in Guernsey say that this is the closest you can get between heaven and hell. The Little Stone Chapel was originally built in March 1914, measuring 9 feet long by 4.5 feet wide. The current version of the chapel measures 16 feet by 9 feet. The little chapel has several altars decorated with seashells, pebbles, and broken china. And each altar has a character of its own. It was from this port that tens of thousands of Irishmen emigrated because of the Great Potato Famine in the 1850s. Sherry and I headed out to the Blarney Castle, home of the famous Blarney Stone. The Blarney Stone is located in a high tower. And as you can see, the line to kiss the Blarney Stone is quite long. Kissing the stone is not that easy. Sherry and I had something a little different planned instead. The gardens surrounding the castle are quite interesting. The garden has a combination of carnivorous and poisonous plants. There are signs all around the garden that make it clear, enter at your own risk. And a short, well-deserved rest. Next was lunch and entertainment.
The pipes are calling from land to land and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying.
Kinsale in County Cork is one of the most picturesque, popular, and fashionable resorts of the southwest coast of Ireland, famous for its beautiful yachting, shopping, and gourmet restaurants. And what would Ireland be without a good neighborhood pub and a pint of Guinnesses? Set on a dramatic outcrop of limestone, the Rock of Cashel, iconic in its historical significance, possesses the most impressive cluster of medieval buildings in Ireland. Among the monuments to be found there is a round tower, a Romanesque chapel, a Gothic cathedral, an abbey, and a 15th century tower house. Originally the seat of the kings of Munster, according to legend, St. Patrick himself came here to convert King Angus to Christianity. The site of the conversion marked by this very spot. And now on to Ireland. Ron and Louise decided to go to the Glengoyne Distillery, a whiskey distillery continuously in operation since its founding in 1833 in Dumgoyne, north of Glasgow. I decided to take a trip to the Scottish Highlands, which requires a ferry boat to get there. The road to Loch Lomond was closed because of an accident, and we couldn't get there. A lot of people think the Ballad of Loch Lomond is a love song, but it's actually written from the perspective of a Jacobite soldier sentenced to death after the Catholic Jacobite uprising in 1745 against the Protestant English. The low road is the normal road on earth, and the high road is the road in the sky that the soldier sentenced to death will take to return to his homeland in the Highlands. Our next stop was Liverpool. St. George's Hall at St. George's Place in the center of Liverpool is a neoclassical building which contains concert halls and law courts. Across the street there was a library and a theater. And on the west side are St. John's Gardens. Liverpool Metropolitan Cathedral, officially known as the Metropolitan Cathedral of Christ the King, and locally named Paddy's Wigwam, is the seat of the Archbishop of Liverpool and the mother church of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese. Liverpool Cathedral is the cathedral of the Anglican Diocese of Liverpool. It may be referred to as the Cathedral of Christ. Liverpool Cathedral is the largest cathedral and religious building in Britain and the 8th largest church in the world. Paramount among Liverpool's important contributions to the 20th century popular culture were the Beatles, who emerged from the Craven, a nightclub that was part of the city's musical scene in the 1960s. With 2 days at sea, let's look at some shipboard activities. Our next port is Iceland. Time to look for some shore excursions. Geothermal energy, derived from the planet's natural inner heat, is a major source of power in Iceland. currently accounting for more than 30% of the country's electrical supply.
There are two hotspots you guys might know very well. There's the Hawaiian hotspot and then the Yellowstone hotspot, causing volcanism that's inside of tectonic plates and not on the boundaries. But here in Iceland we have these two phenomena happening in the same place. So the amount of material being created here in Iceland, the amount of volcanic eruptions are very, very common, to the extent that we have a volcanic eruption here about once every 3 to 4 years.
Gullfoss is known for its power, but also its beauty. In Icelandic, Gullfoss translates to golden waterfall. You can see this golden fall on a sunny day. The water of Gullfoss often reflects the sunlight and gives the waterfall a golden hue. Berlin is a nature exploratorium among Reykjavik's main landmarks. You can learn all about Icelandic nature in fun and interactive ways. Some highlights include a life-size bird cliff full of life, and some interesting characters outside as well. Iceland's National Museum is an ideal attraction for anyone interested in exploring the country's fascinating history. The museum's permanent exhibition, Making of a Nation, Heritage and History in Iceland, is intended to provide insight into the history of the Icelandic nation. The aim is to cast light on the Icelanders' past by placing the cultural heritage preserved by the National Museum in a historical context. The exhibition includes about 2,000 objects, dated from the settlement age to the present. In 1986, Hofte House was the site of a summit between Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev, which ended the Cold War with the Soviet Union. The site also had pieces from the Berlin Wall. A day out of time, Reykjavik's open-air museum, where you can stroll through the past and experience the way people lived there. Reykjavik's early history is preserved in a series of lovingly restored homes, where you'll encounter costume guides, grazing animals, and traditional crafts. Fun, fascinating, and full of surprises, this living museum takes you on a journey through time. It's a sight not to be missed. Our first stop in Belfast was to an Irish pub where we were treated to traditional Irish dancing. They even managed to get participants from the audience involved. Belfast is divided into two groups, that is, the people who are loyal to Ireland and those people who are loyal to the Crown. Falls Road has many memorials and murals depicting the struggle with England. The Europa has the distinction of being the most bombed hotel in the world. Shankill Road has many banners which demonstrate loyalty to the Crown. Belfast City Hall is a luxurious building built in the early 1900s. in classical Renaissance style, symbolizing the sudden wealth of Industrial Revolution Belfast. Surrounded by a park and statues, it is the gem of city centre. And city centre has become a thriving tourist attraction. And a final goodbye to Belfast. And dinner was always a fun time with our newfound friends from England. And now a few words from our newfound friends from England.
I'm Rita and my husband's Nick, and unfortunately he's not here because he's in quarantine because he has COVID, which isn't great. But we've met some amazing friends from America, Mel and Sherry and Ron and Louise, and they have added to our holiday experience no end. It's been wonderful meeting them. We've travelled with some other friends that I'm sure you're going to meet later on Mel's video. But all in all, it's been a great cruise. We've had a lovely time. Weather's been wonderful.
Hi, I'm Angela Turner. This is David Turner, and we're friends of Rita and Nick. Rita, who you spoke to earlier. It was by chance that we met up with some wonderful Americans and shared meal times with them, but it has really been lovely to meet Louise and Ron and Sherry and Mel.
I've enjoyed thinking of you guys. I've appreciated that you actually haven't got an American sense of humour, you've got more of an English sense of humour, which is a bit worrying because I've always thought that Americans were very loud, but you guys, okay. I haven't got much else to say other than it's been a very nice cruise. It's been a pleasure to meet you guys.
And a fond farewell until we sail again in the future.